मैम।
ओके, परसेप्शन का जस्ट इंट्रोडक्शन पार्ट कवर हुआ था और प्रोसेस।
यस मैम, आज करना है कंप्लीट उसको।
प्रेजेंट किए कौन थे लास्ट क्लास में? कोमल?
प्रिया सिंह।
कौन?
परसेप्शन की थी प्रिया, रोल नंबर 75।
75।
यस मैम।
ओके, यस प्रिया। आफ्टर दैट
रिद्धिमा, बाकी का पार्ट मुझे करना है।
करिए। रिद्धिमा रोल नंबर 79। स्टार्ट।
Good evening, ma'am. Before explaining the factors, I would like to explain what perception is. So perception is a particular way of understanding or at looking at something. Now, starting with the factors are grouped into three main categories. That is, factors in the perceiver, factor in the situation, and factor in the target. Starting with the factor in the perceiver, the first is attitude. So one might have a positive or negative attitude towards an object, a person, or a situation. The next that we have is motives. So normally are there stimuli which matches our motives is the one that is quicker to be perceived. Then we have got interest. So usually we perceive those things quicker in which we have interested. Then we have experience. So your past experience is always going to have an impact on your present and your future perception. And lastly, we have got expectation. So the stimuli that match your expectations are quickly and easily perceived by a person, whereas those stimuli that are against your experience or your expectations will be difficult to perceive. Now moving on to the situation factors in situation. The first one is time. Time is also a factor that affects perception. Now the second one is we have got a work setting in which normally we feel that at workplace people should be dressed formally and that most fear should be formal. When it comes to social setting, it is the quite opposite. We expect people to be informally dressed, but if someone comes in uniform in such a party, then it becomes very odd and people will perceive or catch attention of that person very quickly. Now moving on to the factors in target. The first is novelty. A thing that is different or object that is different will be quickly perceived because it does not become hidden in mass. Then we have got motion. So it is known normally that a moving object will be always be able to catch more attention than a stationary one. Then we have got sound. So you know that a video catches more attention rather than a normal image because of the sound that is attached to it, and also in the intensity of sound matters. For example, ambulance sirens noticed more than cars horns. Then we have got sight. So it does not matter whether the object is small or large, but which it matters is the size of the object by which is surrounded. And then we have got background. It refers to background against which target is placed. Now moving on to the perpetual errors. So the first one is stereotyping, making positive or negative generalizations about a group or category of people, usually based on inaccurate assumptions and beliefs, and applying then these generalizations to an individual member of the group. Then we have horn effect. It based on one negative quality, we assumed the person is bad. That is, we perceived the whole person based on one quality. Let's begin with the third one, and that is called halo effect, drawing general impression of individual on the basis of a single characteristics. Let's talk about the fourth one, and that is recency effect. In this, we make judgment based on the recent developments or information, even though we have a whole other information on the person. Now we have primary effect, tendency to form judgment, opinion quickly. Based on the first information we received, we may receive other judgments based on the first information. Then we have similar to me effect. We tend to favor like or give someone favorable judgment to those who are similar to us. Next is called self-serving bias, the tendency for individual to attribute their own success to internal factors while putting the blame for failures on external factors. And lastly, we have self-fulfilling prophecy. People's, people's preconceived expectations and beliefs determine their behavior, thus serving to make their expectations come true. Life is all about perception, positive versus negative. Whichever you choose will affect and more than likely reflect your outcome. Thank you, ma'am.
नाइस एक्सप्लेनेशन, लेकिन आप परसेप्चुअल एरर में थोड़ा एग्जांपल से अगर आप एक्सप्लेन करते तो ज्यादा बेटर होता. इससे पहले वाले में आप एग्जांपल पुट कर रहे थे, लाइक नोवेल और वो मोशन, ये सब आप एग्जांपल पुट कर रहे थे. उस स्लाइड का एक्सप्लेनेशन वाज बेटर देन योर परसेप्चुअल एरर एक्सप्लेनेशन. याद है क्लास में कैसे हर एक के साथ एग्जांपल के फॉर्म में बताया गया है. तो एरर को आप एग्जाम में लिखेंगे तो इसमें एग्जांपल भी इंक्लूड करेंगे. ठीक है, बस ये इम्प्रूवमेंट चाहिए, बाकी दैट स्लाइड एक्सप्लेनेशन वाज गुड. ठीक है, इसमें यही इम्प्रूवमेंट चाहिए. दैट्स इट. नेक्स्ट
मैम, इन फाउंडेशन ऑफ इंडिविजुअल बिहेवियर का
शुरू करिए.
ओके मैम.
इस ग्रुप में बस 2 ही जन है, प्रिया और रिद्धिमा.
यस मैम, वो तीसरा जो था उसका तबीयत ठीक नहीं था तो वो नहीं कर पाया.
और उसका टॉपिक क्या था?
यही परसेप्शन ही मिला था, उसी में डिवाइड होता तीनों में.
यही टॉपिक 3 में डिवाइड होता?
यस मैम.
ओके.
shall we start?
ग्रुप मेंबर को इंट्रोड्यूस करिए. अच्छा, इट्स ओवर हियर. अनन्या 45, 44, 36. All 3 of you are present?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Start.
Good evening to all. My name is Ananya Gupta. We have prepared this presentation by 3 group members. The names are Kaushiki, Shubhan, and me. My team and I want to present our topics. Our topic's name is Foundation of Individual Behavior. So let's begin. What is individual behavior? Individual behavior refers to the way in which an individual reacts or behave at his place of work. It can be delivered behavior defines how a person will respond under distinct conditions and will express different emotions such as happiness, rudeness, love, anger, and anxiety, etc. It refers to some concrete action by an individual. Moving on the next point, factors of foundation of individual behavior. There are 4 factors of individual behavior. First, personal factor. Second, psychological factor. Third, organizational system and resources. Fourth, environmental factor. Personal factor. Let's talk about the personal factor. Personal factor is the individual behavior to the consumer that strongly influences their buying behavior. Personal factor includes experiences, educational, personality, and self-constituality, etc. Personal factor consists of two characteristics. First one is biographical characteristic and second one is learned characteristic. Biographical characteristics are generic in nature and are inherited. Personal characteristics such as age, gender, martial status that are objective and easily obtained from the personal records. Biographical characteristic includes first physical characteristic. These characteristics are related to height, skin, complexion, vision, shape, and size.
Ananya, lost the connection.
Performance. Psychologically, young people are expected to be more energetic, innovative, adventurous, ambitious, and risk taking. Whereas old people are supposed to be more conservative, set their own way, and less adaptable. Third one is gender. Gender studies and research has proved that there are few, if any, important differences between man and woman that will affect their performance job. Religion-based culture play an important role in determining some aspects of the individual behavior. Martial status. There are not enough studies which could draw any conclusion as to whether there is any relationship between martial status and job performance. Experiences. We can say it is a considerate to be a good indicator of employee in performance. It may be two situations. First one is positive and the second one is negative. A positive relationship between experiences and job performance, but the negative performance between seniority and absenteeism. Intelligence. Whether it is an inherited trait, acquired trait, intelligence affected their behavior of their people. Ability, the criterion used to determine what a person can do. Ability can be defined in the two ways. Intellectual ability and physical ability. Intellectual ability, the capacity to mental activities such as number, aptitude, verbal comprehension, perceptual speed, inductive reasoning, deductive reasoning, spatial visualization, and memory. But the physical ability, the capacity to do tasks demanding stamina, dexterity, strength, and the similar characteristics, such as dynamic strength, trunk strength, static strength, explosive strength, extent flexibility, dynamic flexibility, body coordination and balance, and stamina. Here is end of my presentation. Now I would like to invite my colleague Shubhan to continue this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ananya. Good evening, everyone. My topic is learn characteristics. Learn characteristics people get some of their characteristics through choices experience. These characters are called learned. Characteristic or sometimes acquired. The characteristic as car tattoos, clothing, hairstyle are the acquired characteristics because they are not inherited from parents. In third, personality. Personality is dynamic concept describing the growth and development of a person who psychological system. What is a good personality? When we see that someone has a good personality, we mean that they are likable, interesting, and the pleasant to be the with. Everyone wants to be attractive to others. We can develop or integrate into our personality. Any trait we dreaming fitting and agreeable. Second, perception. Perception is the viewpoint of one person in parented situation. Perception is what is perception in human behavior? Perception is an process of transforming sensory stimuli on meaningful transfer information. It is the process of interpreting something that we see or hear in our mind and use the latter to judge and give a weighted and situation process. Attitude expresses the individual positive or negative feeling about some objective. Fourth, value. Value carries an individual ideas as a what is the right and what is wrong. Values are global belief in that the guided action and judgment. Equation in the verification situation values represent basis the convenience that a specific mode of conduct, personality and speciality profitability in an obsessed mode of conduct. Environmental factor. The external environmental is now the external environment is known to have a considerable impact the person behavior a brief of the description of external factors followed. Economics factors. Number one, employment level. The employment opportunity available to individual, the wages stable to them, the general economic environment, and the technological development affect the individual behavior to the large extent, either directly or indirectly. Wages rate. The major consideration of the every employee working in any organization is his the wages, monetary factors, the major factors affecting the job satisfaction of the worker. Technological development. Technological development is having an impact on the job opportunities. Thank you. Now I would like to call my friend Kaushik Sharma.
Thank you, Shubhan. Good evening, everyone. Now we are going to discuss the second environmental factor, the socio-culture factor. Socio-culture factor are the larger scale forces within the cultures and the society that affect the thoughts, feelings, and behavior. Through these interactions, they learn the value and norms of their societies. The social environmental, the social environmental the social environment of an individual include his relationship with family members, friends, colleagues, supervisors, and subordinates. Next, political factor. Political factor indirectly influences the individual behavior, and in a politically stable environment, there will be large opportunities of steady job positions, and it will provide better freedom to individuals, which will influence their career choice, performance, and job design. Next, legal environment. Into these rules and laws are strictly enforced by the legal system, and laws relate to all the members of the society. Now, the next one is organizational factors. Organizational influencing factors can be thought of as attributes, uh, choices, and this one. Individual behavior is influenced by a wide variety of organizational resources. Um, these are the organizational factors are physical facilities, organizational structure and design, leadership, reward system. Number one, physical facilities. Physical environment at workplace have a great influence on the individual behavior. It comprises the factor like cleanliness, heat, noise level, office furnishing, strength of workers, etc. Number two, organizational structure and design. It is concerned with the setup design of departments within an organization. Individual behavior and performance is influenced by where an individual fits in a hierarchy of organization. Number three, leadership. The human behavior is influenced to a large extent of the behavior of superiors and the leaders. Behavior of leader is more important than their qualities. Number four, reward system. It is a motivational practice that business use to reward their employees uh, for their achievements and success. And having a good reward system can help keep happy employees and loyal to the company and eager to move up the ladder. Hence, reward systems serve a very basic functional motivation. And at last but not least, we have reviewed major different. And at last but not least, the conclusion of this topic is we have reviewed major individual differences that affect employee attitude and behavior. Our value and personality can explain our preferences and situation where we feel comfortable with. That's all.
Okay, next is value and attitude. Kaushiki, your presentation were good, but ऊपर आपके हावी हो गया था नर्वसनेस. वो साफ साफ
Yes,
दिख रहा है कि
ma'am.
आप बोल तो अच्छा ही रहे थे, बट बीच बीच में वो नर्वसनेस दिख रहा था.
Yes, ma'am.
You can overcome by practice. You're a good
Okay, ma'am.
presenter. प्रैक्टिस करिए. बोलने का स्किल है, प्रोनाउंसिएशन बहुत अच्छा है, पर्सनालिटी अच्छा है, द वे यू प्रेजेंट वाज गुड, बट वो जो नर्वसनेस है वो प्रैक्टिस जितना करेंगे वो चला जाएगा. ठीक है.
Okay, ma'am.
नेक्स्ट ग्रुप. नेक्स्ट वैल्यू एटीट्यूड कहाँ है? एबल टू हियर मी?
मैम हम लोग का अभी पीपीटी पूरा कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ है मैम, हम लोग कल सुबह में दे देंगे तो नहीं हो जाएगा मैम?
और बाकी दूसरे टीम कहाँ है? ठीक है, आपका नहीं कंप्लीट है. दूसरे
मैम
आपका
दे
क्या है?
देंगे
वैल्यू
तो.
है.
यस मैम.
एटीट्यूड किसका है?
सलोनी.
सेलोनी.
यस मैम.
स्टार्ट. एक दिन में अगर 2-3 टॉपिक कवर नहीं करेंगे तो दिक्कत होगा. नहीं कर, सारा का इवैल्यूएशन नहीं हो पाएगा. पता चला आधे का मार्क्स अपलोड हुआ, आधा का मार्क्स अपलोड नहीं हुआ.
मैम हम लोग का ओवरऑल पीपीटी रेडी नहीं है तो प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है उसको देने में.
कोई रेडी नहीं है आज?
नो मैम, हम लोग का ग्रुप ही पूरा रेडी नहीं है एक्चुअली आज.
नहीं, कोई रेडी नहीं है अभी क्लास में प्रेजेंटेशन देने के लिए?
है मैम.
धीरज.
यस मैम.
वेरी गुड धीरज. आपको तो सबसे लेस है, मतलब सबसे लास्ट में टॉपिक आप ही को मिला है. मोटिवेशन है ना टॉपिक आपका?
यस मैम.
एंड यू आर रेडी? सीखिए. स्टार्ट. रोल 11.
ओके मैम. यस मैम. 11, 82 and 18.
11, 82
and 18.
सब लोग प्रेजेंटेशन देने के लिए रेडी रहिए. टीम बहुत ज्यादा है और टाइम अपने पास कम है. नेक्स्ट डे से ये एक्सक्यूज सुनने को ना मिले किसी से भी कि प्रेजेंटेशन रेडी नहीं है. टॉपिक इसीलिए पहले ही दे दिया गया था.
So hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. So today me and my friend Rishabh and Manya are going to present a presentation on organizational behavior, and the topic is motivation. So motivation is when you want energy to perform a work which you are not interested, or you are afraid to do that work for which you want motivation or energy so you can perform that work well. You will not understand by the definition, but let me explain you by giving you an example. Like if you are a good dancer, according to you, you are a good dancer, but you are afraid to perform in front of people. So you have decided to show your dance to one of your friend, so you can get the feedback that if that only you who think that you are a good dancer, or actually you are a good dancer. By getting the feedback, you will know that. So you have shown your dance to your friend, and he said that, bro, you are such a good dancer, bro, you should perform the stage. So you got the motivation from your friend, okay? And you decided to perform on the stage, and everyone clapped for you and praised you after your performance. Then your motivation level will be raised from 10% to 100%. So that what motivation does to a person. It pushes you and gives you that energy which make you do that work which you are not interested, or in which you are afraid to do that to work. So that what motivation is. So now let's move to the next topic. So psychologists have shown many different theories in motivation, which are Maslow's theory of hierarchical need, Eldrever's Erg's theory, Herzberg's two-factor theory, Mackland's theory of need, Vroom theory of expectancy, McGregor theory X and theory Y, Porter and Lawrence expectancy theory, and last, equity theory of motivation. So I'm going to explain Maslow theory of hierarchical need, and second, Alfred's urge theory. Later, all the topic will be explained by my friends. So, I'm going to explain these two theories. So according to Abraham Maslow, people don't do work for just for the sake of doing the work, or they have no options. They get the motivation, then only they do the work, and they get the motivation from money and other security, or from which they are getting the prizes. For example, if you are working in a company and the boss told you that I want this work to be completed in next week, in anyhow, then you will get extra bonus for that. So automatically you will get the motivation. Na? So that if I complete the work, then I will get this. So if you're not willing to do the work, then also automatically you will get the motivation to do the work. Then you need the job. Then you need that job that you are doing uh, to be permanent, so that you will be secured. For example, like government job, it is fully secured. And in safety need, insurance also come. Now the next need is social need, or we can also call love and belonging need. And in this need, you want that you should have family, friends, and your loved ones, and those person who have your importance in their life, and everybody loves you. So that is social need. And the next need is self-esteem need. And in this need, you need that everyone should have respect for you. Everyone should praise your skills that you have, or any work that you are doing. That's self-esteem need. Now the last need is self-actualization need. In self-actualization need, you will realize that you've achieved everything that you wanted, and in this you will realize that you have reached your potential level. So in the last level, you will be satisfied. So that's what hierarchy of need is. 5 hierarchy of need. Okay. Now the next topic is Alfred's urge theory. So and the full form is ERG is existence, relatedness, and growth. So in this theory, an American psychologist whose name was Clayton Paul have said that these 5 theory can come under 3 more theories, which I have already told you: existence, relatedness, and growth. So the first two need, psychological need and safety need, safety and security need, come in existent need. In this need, you realize that yes, you exist in this world. You are alive. You are eating, drinking. You exist in this earth. You know your existence. Now the next need is relatedness need. So in this need, both social need and esteem need will come. So in this need, you want that I should have my loved ones with me, who care for me, and the society should respect me. I should have a good reputation in the society. So that's what relatedness need is. Now the next need is growth need. So in this need, again the esteem need will come, and the self-actualization need will also come. So in this theory, you want your growth, and want to go to your highest potential, so that you can achieve many things. And it is the highest level in the hierarchy, in the need of hierarchy. In this need, you will get knowledge. You will have knowledge which is very different from others. Like you will become sadhu baba type. So that's type of knowledge you will start getting into your mind. But many people are stuck in the fourth need, which is team need, and in their whole life they're stuck in the team need for the reputation and fame and all. They are not able to climb to the fifth level, which is self-actualization need. So that's all from me. Now I'd like to call Manya Chandra to continue the further presentation.
Thank you, Dheeraj. Now we have Hertzberg's two-factor theory. The two-factor motivation theory, otherwise known as Hertzberg's motivation hygiene theory or dual-factor theory, argues that there are separate sets of mutually exclusive factors in the workplace that either cause job satisfaction.
Anya, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
You can turn on your camera. You're not sharing screen, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The two-factor motivation theory, otherwise known as Hertzberg's motivation hygiene theory or dual-factor theory, argues that there are separate sets of mutually exclusive factors in the workplace that either cause job satisfaction or dissatisfaction. Hertzberg and his collaborators investigated 14 factors relating to job satisfaction in their original study, classifying them as either hygiene or motivation factors. Motivation factors increase job satisfaction, while hygiene factors prevent job dissatisfaction. Motivation factors includes performance and achievements, recognitions, job status, etc., while hygiene factors includes quality of supervision, policies and rules, working conditions, etc. Next, now we have McClelland's theory of needs. McClelland's human motivation theory states that every person has one of three main driving motivators are not inherent. We develop them through our culture and life experiences. One of these drives will be dominant our behavior. The dominant drive depends on our life experiences. The three motivators are achievement, affiliations, and power. Achievement means people with a high need for achievement prefers tasks that provide for personal responsibility and result based on their own efforts. Affiliation means people with a high need for affiliation are motivated by being liked and accepted by others. And power means people with high need for power desire situation in which they exercise power and influence over others. Now next, we have Bloom's expectancy theory. Bloom's expectancy theory of motivation says that an individual motivation is affected by their expectations about the future. In his view, an individual motivation is affected by expectancy, instrumentality, and valence. Expectancy means the belief is that increased effort will lead to increased performance. That is, if I work hard, then it will be better. Instrumentality means the belief is that if you perform well, then the outcome will be valuable for me. That is, if I do a good job, there is something in it for me. And valence means valence is how much importance the individual places upon the expected outcome. That is, if someone is motivated by money, he or she might not value the additional time. Now, next we have McGregor's theory of X and theory Y. The theory X and theory Y are theories of human work motivation and management. They were created by Dulles McGregor while he was working at MIT Sloan School of Management in 1950s. The two theories proposed by McGregor describe contrasting models of workforce motivation applied by managers in human resource management and organizational behavior. Theory X explains the importance of highlighted supervision, external rewards, while Theory Y highlights the role of job satisfaction and encourage work to approach tasks without direct supervision. Now, next we have Porter and Lawler's expectancy theory. Porter and Lawler's expectancy is improvement over Bloom's expectancy theory. They posit that motivation does not equal satisfaction or performance. They proposed a multivariant model to explain the complex relationship that exists between satisfaction and performance. Next slide. The main point in Porter and Lawler's model is that effort or motivation does not lead directly to performance. It intact mediately by abilities and traits by role perceptions. Ultimately, performance leads to satisfaction. The same is depicted in the following model, which you can see in the given slide. There are three main elements in this model: effort, performance, and satisfaction. Effort refers to amount of energy an employee exerts on a given task. Performance refers to amount of performance is determined by the amount of labor and the ability and role perception of the employee. And the last but not the least, satisfaction. Performance leads to satisfaction. The level of satisfaction depends upon the amount of rewards which employees received. Now, next we have equity theory of motivation, and I would like to call Rishabh to continue the further presentation.
Thank you, Manya. Now, equity theory of motivation. Equity theory, popularly known as Adam theory, aims to strike a balance.
Camera on करिए.
1 minute. Yes, ma'am. Equity theory, popularly known as Adam theory, aims to strike a balance between an employee input and output in a workplace. If the employee is able to find his or her right balance, it would lead to more productive relationship with the management. Equity theory states that the employees perceive what they get from job satisfaction about what they put into, and they compare their inputs outcomes ratio with their input outcomes ratio of others. This theory shows inputs. Inputs includes all the rich and diverse elements that employees believe they bring or contribute to the jobs, their education efforts, etc. Second one is outcomes. Outcomes are rewarded that they get from their jobs, and employees outcomes includes job security and social rewards, etc. Third one is over rewarded. If employees feel over rewarded, equity theory productivity, then they will be then there will be an imbalance in their relationship with their employees, and seek to restore their balance. Fourth, equity. If employees perceives equity, then they will be motivated to continue to contribute, act about the same level. Fifth, unrewarded. Employees who feel they have been unrewarded and seek to reduce their feeling inequity through the same type of strategy, but the same of this specific action is now revenue. Next slide. Next is individual make this theory based on the following two assumptions about human behavior. First, individual make contribution inputs for which they expect certain outcomes, rewards. Inputs include such things as the person's past training and experiences, special knowledge, personal character, etc. Second one is the individual. They decided whether or not a particular exchange is satisfactory by comparing their inputs and outcomes to those of others in the form of ratio. Equally exists when an individual conclude that his or her own outcomes input ratio is equal to that of their people. Next slide. The last but not the least, the essential aspect of the equity theory may be shown by an equations. There should be a balance of the outcomes input relationship for one person in a comparing with that for another person. If the person think that rewards are greater than they would, is considered that he or she will may work harder. If the person perceive the reward are equitable, he or she probably will be continue at the same level of output. If they feel that he or she is inequitable rewarded, he or she may be acidified, reduced the quantity or quality of output or even level of organization. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, presentation was good. All three of you explained well. मान्या का भी अच्छा था एक्सप्लेनेशन, इसका भी अच्छा था, और धीरज का भी अच्छा था. बस धीरज आपको ये चेक करना, ये जो ब्रो वगैरह सब जो वर्ड यूज करते हैं, एज यू नो, ना, ठीक है, दीज आर नॉट प्रोफेशनल. तो ये ना बोलना, ये ब्रो बोलना एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रेजेंटेशन, यू नीड टू अवॉइड दीज वर्ड्स. और प्लस पॉइंट की बात करूं, एकदम पेशेंटली आप प्रेजेंट कर रहे थे, ठीक है, एकदम आराम से प्रेजेंट कर रहे थे, और इसी तरीके से एक्सप्लेनेशन होना चाहिए, आराम से, जो लोगों तक मतलब दिमाग तक पहुंच पाए. ठीक है, तो प्रेजेंटेशन तीनों का अच्छा था, और बहुत कम टाइम में प्रिपेयर की, क्योंकि सबको मिल गया था, उसके बाद आप लोग को मिला था. तो ये इस चीज के लिए और प्लस पॉइंट मिलेगा आपको. जिन लोगों को पहले का पीपीटी बना ही नहीं है, और जिन लोगों को लास्ट में मिला था, उन लोग का बन के भी तैयार है, प्रेजेंटेशन भी तैयार है. नेक्स्ट क्लास में वैल्यू एटीट्यूड, इनफैक्ट सब लोग रेडी रहेंगे. ठीक है, कोई इशू हुआ तो तुरंत स्विच करेंगे, बट मैं एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करूंगी कि हमेशा इशू रेज हो हर क्लास में. ठीक है, तो प्लीज इंश्योर. और अटेंडेंस दे दीजिए, शेयर अपना हटा लीजिए जो शेयर कर रहे हैं.
मैम हट चुका है.
ओके, एक मिनट. कल आप लोग का 9 बजे के अलावा कोई फ्री टाइम है?
1 से 2 मैम.
1 से 2. ओके.
नो मैम, उस टाइम में पवन सर का क्लास है.
यस मैम, 1 से 2 में पहुंच.
यस मैम, 1 से 2 पवन सर है.
12 से 1 फ्री है.
2 से 3.
और कोई टाइम?
2 से 4 तक है मैम.
2 से 4 तक कंटिन्यू है. 2 से पहले फ्री टाइम है ना?
मैम 12 से 1 है.
ओके. ओके, अभी प्रेजेंटेशन कौन कौन दिए? एक 29.
रिद्धिमा.
रोल नंबर बताइए अपना.
मैम रोल नंबर 44, 36, 45.
रोल नंबर 79.
आज जो प्रेजेंटेशन दिए वो अपना बताएंगे. रोल नंबर 79. ओके. और
मैम
रोल नंबर 82.
रोल नंबर 82.
18 and 11 मैम.
18. 82 हो गया. और
18 and 11 and 18 मैम.
11 और 18. और कौन? कितने
मैम
लोग?
रोल नंबर 44, 44, 36.
रोल नंबर 44,
36.
और अनन्या गुप्ता भी ना? 44, 45 और 30. तो आज
मैम 44, 36 और 44.
हो गया. 44, 45, 36 यही 3 ना?
यस मैम।
तो थ्रू आउट द क्लास आप लोग का तो खैर अटेंडेंस बनेगा ही क्योंकि प्रेजेंट किए हैं। बाकी रोल नंबर 29, रोल नंबर 2, इन लोग का ही बस कैमरा ऑन था तो अटेंडेंस इतने का ही बनेगा। मतलब पूरे क्लास के बच्चे।
मेरा नेटवर्क इशू था मैम।
एक सागर ऑन रखा था, एक और बच्चा रोल नंबर 2 29 और 7।
मैम मेरा आज नेटवर्क इशू था मैम।
45 36। ओके, इन दोनों का तो हो गया। नहीं, पूरा क्लास का बच्चा अगर ऑफ रखे तो ये पैथेटिक है ना, जबकि हर क्लास में बोलती है कैमरा ऑन रखना है। दिस शोज दैट कितना रिस्पेक्ट है दिल मन में आप लोगों के।